Welcome back to Oregon, folks, for this second practice session of our race weekend. A full day of action on track. We have this practice session, we have qualifying, we have a final third practice session coming later in the day on a weekend where the 2025 title can be wrapped up. There's one figure that you need in your mind, and that is that Alex Palou needs to finish 108 points ahead of Pato O'Ward when the checkered flag falls tomorrow afternoon. Currently that gap is 121, so just as last time out at Laguna Seca, Pato needs to win and hope that something befalls Alex Palou in his inexorable rise to the title. Now, Pato O'Ward's teammate, Christian Lundgaard, was the fastest driver yesterday. However, he starts today somewhat on the back foot. He and Santino Ferrucci have both been issued 6th-place grid penalties for taking on a 5th, and it should be said, unapproved engine change. A giant killing performance as we see Will Power off track.
Running wide there, out of turn 6. Common thing to do there. You're trying to get the power down. You just step out a little bit, and if you drop that right rear into the dirt, it can pull you off. But yes, Rosenquist, absolutely phenomenal. Let's just take a look here. Oh, he had a big oversteer moment there, mid-corner. Simple trip through the gravel, or through the grass. No harm, no foul.
Looks like some poppies growing out there.
And remember, this is your defending pole winner, your defending race winner. Led over 100 laps at this race last year and just struggling to get the grip early in this first session. That's not the normal sort of off you see in turn 6, T-Bell.
I wanted to highlight Alexander Rossi for a second, looking smooth in P3 right now. I asked him earlier in the week how he feels road courses have been this season, and he said up and down. Ultimately, they're in a phase where they need to grow as a team aggressively. And when asked how they can do that, Alex responded with, it's time. The team hasn't had the ability to do things they need to do that they have in the past, and now that they do, it's hard to catch up. And July was so busy, as we know, with 5 races in 4 weeks. It's challenging to develop anything, really. So it's really just time, he said. But working right now, though. Kevin?
Let's talk Graham Rahal. And one thing that has often been a theme with Rahal is he always moves forward in the races if they can just get qualifying sorted. Well, that's not been the case this year. The last 6 non-ovals, he has qualified in the top 8. 5 of those times, has 4 Fast 6 appearances, and was strong yesterday, especially towards the end of the session. 4th on the soft tire run. A bit disconnected at times, but they got it better as they went through. Not super happy so far in this one. He wants a little more rear security. They just made a rear spring change. Let's see if it comes to life a bit more for Rahal.
With Alexander.
Coming through 5 here. You see car ahead of him at turn 6. And that car, it looks like it's slowing up to find a gap.
Oh, everyone ahead slowing.
Yeah, it's pretty normal here at Portland for everybody to whoa up here before the long straightaway, before the timing line.
Key to get that good launch off of 7 because the alt-start finish is just behind. Oh.
And that's Rasmussen.
Rasmussen holding
Schwartzman.
up. Yeah. Again, it's when you're trying to find that that gap, and sometimes cars behind try to force the issue, which is what Schwartzman was doing there. Rasmussen not letting him by.
Well, Schwartzman kind of reminds me of a young Santino Ferrucci.
Young or current? Pretty sure Santino was doing that pretty aggressively in Mid-Ohio a few races ago.
A few years ago, it really started in where Ferrucci didn't appreciate some of the other drivers holding him up on practice laps. But the fact is, there's some protocol here. Everybody's trying to get a clean lap. Everybody has gotten used to that accordion effect.
Okay, we sit on board with Colton Herta, your fastest man so far out on track, 58.423. And everybody's still out there on the hard.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, how this team sort of ends this session. They weren't particularly competitive yesterday, which was a surprise just given it was the only team that came here and tested. I think only one car in the top 10 in practice yesterday with Kirkwood. Herta down in 13th, Ericsson down in 16th. Right now, all 3 of them running inside the top 10. But everyone, I think, is starting to switch over to that second set of tires. New sets going on. Be interesting to see how this pace continues over the next 14 minutes.
And folks, if you were with us yesterday, you'll remember Lundgaard's fastest time was a 58.53. We're already at a 58.4, not on the soft tire, but on the hard tire. Townsend, how reflective is that of just how much this track is rubbering in, gripping up?
Yeah, rubbered in, and also track temperature is huge around here. Just 85 degrees still right now. So yesterday was about 115 during that practice, so roughly 30 degrees is the delta on track temp, and that does wonders for grip even on the hard tire. You throw the softs on right now, you're going to be lightning quick, probably down in the 56-second range.
And that is something, Townsend, because when we think about it, the pole lap record here was set, what, 2018?
Yeah, Will Power.
It's a 57.
57.2.
And that's without a hybrid in the back.
So if you threw softs on right now, you'd be at track record pace.
Riding on board with Will Power goes car of Colton Herta up ahead. Disappears. Power very much, of course. And we mention it every day because it is still one of those stories that shows no sign of ending, and it has been a story since the start of the year, as unsure as ever he has been about where his future lies for next year. But all he can do at the moment is keep doing what he's doing, and what he is doing is being the lead Penske driver, 9th in the championship at the moment, as compared to his teammates Josef Newgarden and Scott McLaughlin. Newgarden 15th in the championship, McLaughlin 12th in the championship.
Well, look, that's, midfield and not where they want to be. They want to be up top right now, where it's still Palou and O'Ward. And guys, as we talk about that battle, we need something strong from O'Ward in order to keep this championship alive as we go to this great ghost car now. That's Colton Herta with the fastest lap. You can see just rolling a little bit more speed through these long duration corners, 4 and 5, turn 6 now. So important to get on the power.
Oh, look at the Honda. Wow.
Just disappeared.
That is what Pato O'Ward was telling us yesterday he experiences out on the racetrack, is the torque coming off of turn 7. Top speed looks pretty consistent, but it's that mid-range power in first gear coming off of turn 7 that looks pretty strong from Herta and Honda.
Here's the concern for me right now, guys. Pato O'Ward, P27. He is dead last on the field right now. He's done 19 laps. He's right up there with everybody else. It's not like they've had any issues. They haven't been running. So Pato not having the pace that he would want early, considering how quick we've seen Lundgaard be so far this weekend running the top 5.
And we show 4 laps on the tires, so maybe things will improve. Maybe this is a fresh set that is just coming in, but 1.2 seconds off right now for Pato, puts him last.
One driver who won't be going any further, though, in this session with just under 8 minutes remaining is Josef Newgarden. Kevin, what's going on with the number 2?
So they have taken the number 2 Chevrolet back to the paddock area, and don't know if it's similar to what Arrow McLaren found with Christian Lundgaard or not, but they saw something in the data they did not like. We also had an engine change along with Lundgaard and Santino Ferrucci, all Chevys. So not saying there's going to be an engine change, but when you see things you don't like, you want to try to save the engine and find out what it is and get a jump start on trying to get things turned around for qualifying, because if there is an engine change, there's not a whole lot of time. That will have to be done very, very quickly to be ready.
She was Scott McLaughlin.
Is that definitely
DiFrancesco? DiFrancesco.
Yeah.
Old friends. Oh, and says good morning, Devlin. I think he was telling him how many sugars he wanted in his coffee. Just the one. Why don't we hear a bit of radio from Devlin DiFrancesco?
He's playing games now. He's backing up now.
That's all right. He's just giving us a gap, that's all.
Yeah, look, guys, finding that gap, it's going to be a big deal at this short track in that first segment of qualifying as we look back to some more issues for Scott McLaughlin. Were we just talking about this?
Yeah. Young Ferrucci.
He's putting his coffee order in with Santino as well.
And then just look, none of those guys are going to get a clear lap. This is what's so frustrating to watch. I hated it when I was driving. Everyone in this series, not everyone, 90% of the people in this series are so bad at this, finding that gap, giving yourself the room that you need to get a reasonable read on the race car, but it's just nature.
Of the road course, this is the shortest one we come to, 1.9 miles, so it looks a lot more like a street circuit practice. This guy, Devlin DeFrancesco, though, you got to pull your head out of the conflict immediately. You're 5th on the charts. You're having a great day. Your RLL car is right in the hunt. Stay focused here and just back off, find some clean air, and don't find that 3 on the racetrack unless you have to in the race.
You know what to do here now. Oh, you're in the middle of about 6 cars. All you do is hold it on this lap and try and give yourself room. You get one more after this. If you...
Yeah, that sort of discussion back and forth, that's Herta with his strategist Rob Edwards back on the stand. The team can obviously see from GPS where every car on track is. They're trying to find you that gap, something helpful. But when you're on a 1.9 mile circuit, like you said, T-Bell, sometimes that gap just doesn't exist, as we see Edwards there up in the corner of your screen.
That looks like a great session, though. As you pointed out, James, the team did test here, so the fruits of that effort starting to pay off. As another guy who's having a really strong session, Rinus VeeKay, just rolled off pit lane, 58.5, just a 10th off Colton Herta for Dale Coyne Racing. They started strong. They were strong in the middle, and they're strong now at the end, punching above their weight with VeeKay, the driver of the 18 car. Having a good run so far, coming out right ahead of Scott Dixon, though.
Under a minute remains in this session, and the gap from first to last is 9/10 of a second. This is one of the many reasons I love this championship. Less than a second covers 27 cars around this tight and twisting and challenging circuit here in Portland. I love it. Love it. And this a little moment between Louis Foster and oh my goodness, and Pato O'Ward at the end of the session. Foster moving to go around the right-hand side of him, and O'Ward seemingly moving late. Let's have a look here. So O'Ward
started here
up the inside. Foster tries to get back through.
Not sure where Foster thought he would get back through.
But it also looked like Pato sort of moved to the right, almost anticipating a move there. That was a strange one.
Here's your top 10 from practice as we welcome you back to Portland. Colton Herta for Andretti, top 58.4. Faster on the hard tyre than anyone went yesterday on the soft. Alex Palou, championship leader, second. His teammate Scott Dixon, third. Then Will Power, the fastest of the Penskes, in fourth, ahead of the impressive Devlin DeFrancesco. An equally impressive Rinus VeeKay was sixth. Then Christian Lundgaard, the top McLaren, from Louis Foster, Marcus Ericsson, and Nolan Siegel.